Welcome to Born to Watch, where three old mates, an ex-video shop owner, an industry insider, and a black belt in 80s kung fu movies put their mastery to the test on movies that changed the world.
Life is good in Los Angeles. It's paradise on earth. That's what they tell you anyway. Hey there, fellow watchers. I'm Whitey, and welcome back to another episode of Born to Watch. Tonight, we put the Born to Watch blowtorch on the 1997 Hollywood crime thriller, LA Confidential. But remember, you heard it here first on the QT, and very hush, hush. Let's meet the team. G-Man, how are you, mate?
Very good. We're off the record tonight on the QT.
And very hush, hush.
Very hush, hush.
And what about up there on the land? We've got Dan, who's smashing a poke bowl as we speak.
Yeah, it wasn't a big week on the land. You said I can't say anything at the start anymore.
Yeah, I don't think I actually said that. You brought it up. But anyway, moving right along. So 97, it's not that long ago, is it? When did we first see it? What are your thoughts on seeing this for the first time, Gal?
Saw it in 97. Think it was at the movies from memory. Pretty sure it was at the movies because I remember this coming out and there was a lot of steam behind it.
Yeah, big Aussie
and
contingent.
Because of the two Aussies, really, and they were
three.
Well, three Aussies, but yeah, okay. We got one guy that has two scenes,
yeah.
But yeah, the two Aussies, and they were relatively unknown. I mean, known
to us.
Guy Pearce was known well locally off TV, but you know they both weren't big at that stage.
No, they were just starting out. I guess Rusty had done Romper Stomper. That was about it. Really,
he'd done Romper, and the Some of Us. Yeah. But again, an Aussie movies
up your bum.
Good old Jack Thompson. Yeah. But yeah, and so I think that was the whole big kick. Was like, wow, two Aussies starring in this big Hollywood thriller. So I remember there being a bit of buzz around this one.
Absolutely. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, there was two Aussies making their way. Obviously, the little nation in the South Pacific that could showing their way and making their way in Hollywood. But another two Aussies were making their way in 1997 as me and the G-Man left Australia behind to start off our travels. So look, of course, I won't go into much because you all know the cool bits about travels. But I will just say this film reminded me when Bud White was shoving someone's head down the shitter of the perils of the American plumbing system. So on literally the first night, Gail and I were on our travels. We were in Hawaii and we had 1 zillion beers. And I brought up my Jack in the Box in the bathroom and had a spew, as you would. But the fucking toilets are half full, so I got splashback when I was trying to have just a normal spew. So yeah, anyway, that taught us a lot about the world that night, didn't it, Chi?
Oh, splashback theory came straight out. That was the first night we were away.
Excellent.
And I think it was a Dillianty and 1 beers, to be fair. We struggled to get to Jack in the Box. I remember that.
Well, you got to go at it hard early, don't you? Yeah. All right, look, yeah, I was on this in 97. I loved it. Saw it at the movies. Saw it a couple times in the movies, I do recall. And then it became a bit of a staple for me. It's a bit of a go-to movie when I've got nothing much to watch. But in saying that, I haven't watched it for probably about a year. But God, I've watched it a lot in the previous 20. That's for sure. So I'm going to set the over and unders at 20 on this one. It's pretty high. That's pretty much the cater for me. G-Man.
I'm under 20. I watched this quite a few times early on. I haven't seen this for a long, long time though.
Yeah.
Which is really good because it's a great movie to go back and watch again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes in there you forget that are in. But yeah. No, I'd be around the 10 mark, I'd say.
Okay. And what about you, Dan?
I'd be right on the knocker, I reckon. 20 times.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I am well in excess of 20. I'm going to say that I could be 50 times I've seen this movie.
Wow, 50?
Yeah. This was a go-to for me late at night, the video shop. I'd whack it on when I was doing returns or doing something or adding late fees to people's accounts that I didn't particularly like. Watched it a lot, watched it a heap on VHS. It was one of my go-tos. But yeah, so I would be well in excess up there around 50. Anyway, let's listen to the trailer.
They were three cops who had nothing in common.
Freeze! Big B, what are you doing here? Hey, you know me, I'm keeping the streets safe, boys.
One would do anything to get ahead.
You're truly prepared to be despised within a department?
Yes, sir, I am.
One had his own brand of justice.
How's it going to look in your report? It'll look like justice. That's what the man got.
And one loved the spotlight.
What exactly do you do on the show, Jack?
I teach Brett Chase how to walk and talk like a cop.
The Night Owl Massacre. This is a heinous crime that requires swift resolution. 6 victims. One of them, one of our own. Interrogations will be led by Lieutenant Exley.
I need some backup. Come on.
All right, college boy, I'll help.
Now, all of them are faced with solving one case.
Don't move! I want confessions, Edmund.
Oh, I'll break them, sir. These people are all in the morgue. And someone has to pay for it.
There's something wrong with the Night Owl. I just can't prove it.
They thought they had it all figured out.
Anything bothering you about the Night Owl case? The fact that you guys won't let it get filed away.
I didn't kill nobody! But what started as a murder...
You talk only to me on this one.
...became a mystery that could cost them everything.
Why was Susan Lefferts at the Night Owl?
I don't know. I never heard of the Night Owl till today.
How about some payback, big time?
We need evidence.
I'll get the evidence.
It was an information exchange.
Do you have any proof? The proof had his throat slit.
What do you want, Exley?
I just want to solve this thing.
Even if it means paying the consequences?
Academy Award winner Kevin Spacey, Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce, James Cromwell, Kim Basinger, Danny DeVito. L.A. Confidential.
Great trailer there. Gal, why don't you tell us a little bit about LA Confidential?
Here we go. 1950s Los Angeles is the seedy backdrop for this intricate, noirish tale of police corruption and Hollywood sleaze. Three very different cops are all after the truth, each in their own style. Ed Exley, the golden boy of the police force, willing to do almost anything to get ahead, except sell out. Bud White, ready to break the rules to seek justice, but barely able to keep his raging violence under control. And Jack Vincennes, always looking for celebrity and a quick buck until his conscience drives him to join Exley and White down the one-way path to find the truth behind the dark world of LA crime.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's very good, isn't it?
It does help that one of the great literary minds of the modern literary world wrote the book.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's probably taken directly from the book. Morgs, you'd be a big Ellroy fan, wouldn't you?
Massive, yeah. Look, he's a huge part of this film. Obviously, it strays quite a bit from the book because the book's a bit of an opus and has about 8 plot lines, where this one's about 3, really, with the 3 main protagonists. So
it spans a long time too. The book, it's 7 years, I think. It spans over.
Isn't there like 3 or 4 books though, or 3 or 4 chapters, or
there's
parts of it?
He writes them in like a 3 or 4 in the series, like a quartet, but.
That's right.
Ellroy, if you haven't got into James Ellroy, then there's just one book you're going to read. Check out American Tabloid, which I don't think we'll ever see come to the film, to the screen, just because it is quite an intricate plot. But that just sets up, and it just uses Ellroy has this method of using historical events and then weaving in a bit of fiction, and just completely compelling. But yeah, just one of my favourite authors for sure, and LA Confidential, just a brilliant book. But yeah, Whitey, as you said, I think having him as the source material writer just allows a bit of a depth of everything that maybe you don't see in what's just written as a screenplay just for the big screen.
But Curtis Hanson wrote the screenplay for this, didn't he?
He did.
He adapted it. Yeah,
yeah, and Brian Helgeland.
Yeah, because I think they got an Oscar for that.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. But it was nominated for about 7 Oscars.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about.
We'll
this
get to
bit,
that.
But
We'll get to
it was the Titanic year, so
yes,
it was a rough year. Okay, critical thinking. Movie rates amazingly well. 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb, so it's right up there on the Dan scale. But here we go. 99% on the tomato meter.
99. Have we had a 99?
No, we haven't had a 99.
Wow.
99% on the tomato meter.
That's a lot of tomatoes.
It's a lot of tomatoes. Yeah. That's the Dolmio grin.
What does that mean again?
I don't know. That's critical. So that's critics rate that. It's a 99% approval rating that's given by the critics. 94% audience score.
You'd be tough. It would be hard to find a critical, a bad rave on this.
We're going to get to that, and it was very difficult for me to find a bad review. So the good review from Henry Sheehan of the Orange County Register, adapted from a novel said to be unadaptable and set in a genre that has seemed increasingly played out. It brings clarity and life to its art and to life. That's a pretty good definition of a masterpiece, isn't it? Good.
There you go.
Good review. So the bad one, I had to dig real deep. Dwight Garner from salon.com. So he's a bigwig. He's a bigwig. You emerge from the theatre feeling like Hanson finally managed to push LA Confidential past the usual boundaries. Your waiting hasn't been entirely in vain, but by this point, you're almost too burned out to care. See, it's a long movie. It's 2 hours 16. For me, it doesn't feel long. It's a cracking pace, man.
Well, there's a lot of setup in this, isn't it? And there's obviously it goes through a double twist, sort of.
Yeah.
And that takes a bit of time for it to come out, but I don't think it was long at all. Like there's not sort of parts here where you're sort of thinking, it's dragging now.
No, I think it goes at a cracking pace. In fact, like, I don't think it's funny, we'll get to it in Quickfire, but I don't know how you can improve on this movie. Like, it's, for a movie that's long, it's sharp.
Yeah.
Which is pretty incredible. I guess the script is, the highlight here, isn't it, really? It's quite incredible script. That's Gow, Ordinary People. Why don't you tell us about the cast?
All right, let's start with an Aussie, Russell Crowe. Look, obviously his big break came in Romper Stomper in 92, which he won an AFI award for. Gave him a big name throughout Australia, but he hadn't done much before, other than that, before that. He'd been on a bit of TV. He'd done a couple of TV roles, but The Sum of Us in 94 really helped put him on the American map. And then after that, it was straight into into The Quick and the Dead.
Yeah.
Sharon Stone wanted him for that.
Yeah.
And then LA Confidential, and then, we get to...
Right, your ticket.
Yeah. Then we get to...
Gladiator's not long after that.
Yeah, it's 2001.
Virtuosity, he does a heap of movies.
Virtuosity's 95, but The Insider, A Beautiful Mind, Martian Commander, like he's got a big back catalogue now.
He's the man.
And this is right when he is at his brooding, simmering best.
He's chunky. He's chunky Crowe. Like because he thins out a bit after this and then goes real chunky.
Yeah.
Dan, what's your highlight from Rusty? What's your go-to in the Rusty filmography?
Romper Stomper. Absolute, yeah. I was thinking about that, and that's Curtis, the director. That's what he saw him and saw what he wanted for Bud White out of that role. But yeah, if I go back to what I'm really blown away by, it's just that brooding intensity that Rusty brings, and he's had some great roles. I think Gladiator was a bit of a piss take. It was a fine movie, but wasn't best picture, and was a bit of a piss take there. He's had better roles, and I think there were way better pictures, but. Definitely Romper Stomper for me. What about you guys?
Romper Stomper for sure. I mean, that was such a movie at the time. It was so powerful.
Yeah. I've got a couple later ones. I love The Nice Guys. I love State of Play. State of Play is excellent with Ben Affleck, Robin Wright Penn, political drama, excellent. Adapted from a BBC TV series, really, really good. If you have not seen it, watchers, get onto State of Play. Really good. Yeah. Who's next, G?
All right, let's keep moving. Kevin Spacey Fowler.
That's right.
That's his real name.
That's right.
Obviously, he goes by the stage name.
Fowler or Prowler?
Well.
No, he's uncancelled now. No, we're back on.
I did, in my research here, Guy Pearce described Kevin Spacey as being handsy on the set of LA Confidential.
Oh, mate. He's a creep. Should be Kevin Creepy Fowler.
Oh, my God.
Creep. But,
handsy.
Yeah, but an amazing, amazing actor. No doubt about that. But, yeah, not so great off the screen.
Well, is this our third go-round for Kevin? No, we've done Usual Suspects, 7.
Yes, you're right.
You're
right.
Third
go.
He's in royalty.
But, yeah, look, I mean, we don't need to go much through his back catalogue. He's been, best supporting actor for The Usual Suspects, as you mentioned, as Verbal Kint. Best actor in American Beauty in 99 as Lester Burnham. He's been in a ton of movies. The Life of David Gale, great movie.
Yeah.
House of Cards, the big show that he's been in recently till he got punted.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's Glengarrigan Ross. He's done a lot of stuff over the time.
Yeah. As What was the Pakistani guy in Seinfeld called? Who was the guy that had the Pakistani restaurant?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, he would be saying, "You're a very, very bad man, Jetty. You're a very bad man.
Very bad man.
Let us know what his name is. For the life of me, I've forgotten.
All right, moving on. Another Aussie, Guy Pearce. We've talked about Guy Pearce before too. Everybody here knows him because he was in Neighbours forever. Mike Pearce. Did a fair bit of Home. I did 19 episodes of Home and Away too early, so he was well known locally, and did Priscilla, Adventures of Priscilla, after that in 2004. But
No, it's earlier than that. Priscilla.
it is. No, you're
It's
right.
in the 90s.
It's before that. It's before LA Confidential.
Yeah.
Because
It's early in the 90s.
because
It's
Curtis
that-
Hanson didn't want to watch it because
Yeah.
he didn't want to see that portrayal. He thought it might
Yeah.
skew what he wanted to do with his movie.
Yeah.
But look, Memento, The Count of Monte Cristo, The Hurt Locker, 2008. So Animal Kingdom we've done before, The King's Speech, and more recently in Mayor of Easttown.
He's excellent. He's so good, so talented.
Very talented,
Yeah.
great actor, and really good in this role.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, excellent in this role.
Plays this off to perfection.
Yeah, plays a real asshole.
Yes.
Yeah.
But just the real straight-laced guy, who's just not
It's
going
got
to
real
put up with it.
shades of Philip Stuckey.
Oh, he's a bit of Philip Stuckey.
There's a bit of Stuckey about him. Yeah. Who else you got, G?
Kim Basinger. So Kim Basinger won her
Academy
Academy
Award.
Award for this. She won this award. She's never been nominated for anything else. This was the one and done.
It's
which is pretty crazy. I mean, look at the movie she's been in. My Stepbrother's an Alien. Obviously, 9.5 Weeks is where
Mickey
everyone would have
Rourke. Oh,
come to have known her.
my God.
Yeah.
So wasted some Kleenex on that.
She was a Bond girl in Never Say Never Again.
Yeah, with Sean Connery, the unofficial Bond.
Yeah. Yeah. Batman, obviously, in Vicky Vale in 89. We saw that at Coleroy
She's at her best.
Cinemas.
We did see her at Coleroy Cinemas, yes.
Yeah. Obviously, 8 Mile. And The Nice Guy. She's in The Nice Guys as well.
She is. She plays the politician.
Yes.
Yeah. She's bad. Yeah, look, does she deserve to win an Academy Award for this role? She's not in it a lot.
She's not. I rewatching this, I didn't understand how I thought that that Russell Crowe was amazing.
He was.
In this movie.
In saying this, so Kim Basinger wins. Joan Cusack for In and Out, which meh. Minnie Driver for Good Will Hunting. Okay.
She's pretty good in that role.
Gloria Stewart in Titanic, the old bird. But can you tell me, Dan, in your expert opinion, Julianne Moore in Boogie Nights is nominated for Best Supporting Actress and doesn't win? That is criminal.
Yeah, disgusting. Kim Basinger, she's great in this flick, but she doesn't lace up Julianne Moore's bodice from Boogie Nights. Yeah, absolute travesty.
Yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, funny. And look, she almost turned this movie down because she didn't want to be typecast as a prostitute. She'd done a couple of roles like that earlier,
Yeah.
but turned out to be her biggest or best role, I guess.
Yeah. Now, I just want to say one thing before because I can't wait till we get to quotes, but there's possibly the worst back and forth between Russell Crowe and her when he first knocks on her door and he's like being Bud White and she goes, "You say fuck a lot." And he goes, "You fuck for money." Like, what is that? I was like, that is so out of place in the whole movie. Like in a script which is perfection, this 10 words pop up where I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You fuck for money.
Yeah.
Like, just for no reason.
You look better than Veronica Lake.
Yeah. They get Veronica Lake.
Yes. Oh, look, also, we'll hit James Cromwell. Look, he's been around forever. In Revenge of the Nerds, do you remember him?
Is he his dad?
Lewis Skolnick's
He's
dad.
Lewis's dad.
Yeah, Lewis's dad just drives the car at the start. He's got the pens in the pocket
He's
and the big
such
glasses.
a Skolnick. He's such a Skolnick.
But obviously well known for Babe as Farmer Hog. He was Oscar nominated for that.
Well, we adopted him after that.
Yes,
He
that's
became
right.
an Aussie. He was
really
an
did.
honorary Aussie.
It was in Star Trek First Contact in 96. Been in heaps of stuff. Deep Impact, The Green Mile, Sum of All Fears, and most recently in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah. He's good. He's a good actor, James Cromwell. He was in everything for a while there.
Yeah.
After Babe, he seemed to be in every third movie.
The People vs. Larry Flint.
Yeah.
Said The Green Mile, Sum of All Fears. He was in a heap of stuff. iRobot. Yeah, he was in tons of stuff.
What else you got, Gow? Who else we got in there?
Well, I think we can. That's through. Danny DeVito's
Danny
obviously
DeVito's
there.
worth a
He's
mention.
been in a ton of movies for a long, long time. We know that. He's been in Batman. He's been in War of the Roses, Throw Mama from the Train.
What about Get Shorty?
Get Shorty.
Yeah.
Tons and tons of stuff.
Is Get Shorty on the short list for Born to Watch? Would it be on the short list, you reckon? Get
I
Shorty.
don't see why not.
Dan,
I like that.
thoughts?
I haven't seen it for a long time. I remember enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah. John Travolta's excellent.
Did you ever watch Get Shorty, the series?
No, I never did. I know you
Good,
did.
yeah.
I know you did.
They cut it. You know, it was about 3 seasons in and it never came back. It was a shame because it was good. It was that American Irish actor. I can't think of his name.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. But, anyway,
it wasn't Colin Farrell, was it?
No.
Okay.
No, I can't think of it. I'll think of it later.
Yeah. All right. All right. What about 1997 and budget and box office and all that kind of biz, Gow?
All right. So, as we said before, look, this movie grossed 64.6 million domestic and 61.6 international for 126.2 million worldwide on a $35 million budget.
Yeah.
So definitely did very well, but came in at number 32 that year.
Okay.
Now we talked about what won everything that year. It was Titanic.
Yeah.
Titanic was nominated for 9 Academy Awards.
Won all of them.
And won pretty much everything. Best Picture, Best Director. Didn't get Best Actor or Actress, which both went to As Good As It Gets.
As Good As It Gets.
Yeah, with Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt.
Yep.
And Robin Williams, obviously, for Good Will Hunting, which is amazing because he was
Yeah.
amazing in that.
Yep.
And Kim Basinger, as we said, Best Supporting Actress. But let's look at the top movies. Titanic, $2.2 billion.
Yeah, that's had about 13 re-releases to get to that figure.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely.
But still, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, 618 million. Men in Black, 587 million. As Good As It Gets did 340. That was number 6 on the list.
Air Force One. Air Force One's a cracker.
Air Force One's a good movie, 315 million.
The Fifth Element. Face Off. Con Air. There's some Born to Watch royalty here.
Good Will Hunting would be a good movie to do for us too, but 225 million for those blokes in their start out.
Yep.
That's amazing. And that is a cracker of a movie.
Guess what came in at number 34?
What?
Starship Troopers.
Good movie. Guess what came in at number 18?
Tell me.
Flubber.
Copland. There's some great movies that came out in 97, even though Boogie Nights, we said, Boogie Nights is one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah,
I'd like to hear someone argue against it.
Mate, coming in at number 59, Beverly Hills Ninja. Good flick.
What would be?
Yeah.
You'd have that on high rotation?
Watched it a lot.
Was that Chris Farley?
Think so.
Beverly
Yeah.
Hills
No,
Ninja?
to be honest, I haven't actually seen it. I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Oh, very funny. Very funny. All right. Yeah, 97 was a good year. Not the greatest, but a good year. Okay, question time. Was Ed Exley the only good cop in LA? It was highly corrupt.
It was highly corrupt.
Mm.
Yeah, he was not willing to do anything, was he?
No, he wasn't willing to do anything wrong.
Anything wrong, yeah.
Yeah. Not even take the $10.
Yeah.
Like when he was on Night Watch.
He was straight down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Everyone else had a bit of game, but I guess that's part of the movie is the juxtaposition between him being so right and trying to do everything by the book, and then Bud White being the hammer, and coming in and doing the things that no one else wanted to do.
Yeah, but he still had his morals, I think, to a point, didn't he? He thought he was like he used to bash people, but
well, that was his conflicting.
Mm.
So even Jack Vincennes was conflicted.
Yeah,
like when you see himself stare at him,
for sure,
stares at himself in the bar.
Yeah,
and he's just sort of going, "What am I doing?"
Yeah.
But
puts the $50 down on the shot glass and walks out.
Yep.
Goes to save him.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with Bud. Like he doesn't want to do those things, but he just does it as part of the job.
What about you, Dan? Any other good cops in LA that you saw?
Mate, that $50, that's $1,000 tip these days. Fuck that.
Yeah. Oh no, it was a bold move.
Didn't even have the drink either.
No. Well, he had to go and stop the guy from his last supper.
Mate, that wouldn't happen up on the land.
Nah, I don't care how bad your demons are. You just go to the pub, you tell Ed, he tells everyone, no more problem. Look, obviously it's a setup for the show, but I like the fact that Ellroy in the original book, he just weaved in so many of the organised crime characters from the day, like Mickey Cohen.
Yes.
He was a real guy. The brilliant scene that they actually added where the the heavy is there with the actual. Is it Veronica Lake? Who's
Johnny Stompanato.
Oh, so good! Like that.
How
was
good is that?
a scene they added.
That's
in.
a really good scene.
Yeah.
But that actually happened, and he was murdered by the daughter of, if it's Veronica Lake, I'm not sure if we're getting the right actress.
No, it's Lana Turner. No, that is the real Lana Turner. That's the real Lana Turner.
Yeah. So, Lana Turner's daughter at 14 actually killed that bloke. So there's all these historical references that he just weaves in and out, and I think it's brilliant. It's what Tarantino does a lot, but obviously dials it up to about 15 on the fictional part. So whereas this is almost plausible. And there were, the corruption side, you would believe that it was as embedded into LA in 1950 as what we see.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Is there any chance, knowing that Bud White's sleeping with Lynn, that you have a crack like Exley does? Like, he must know that shit's going to hit the fan. And I know she was like told to sleep with him and seduce him, but surely Ed's smarter than that. He's not as smart as he seems to be.
I'm going to get to that in my Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Okay.
I'm going to get to that.
Yeah.
I'd also like to explore that, because there's a good mate of ours down there in Sydney that has a penchant for the cougar and always had. So I'll we'll come back to that a little later in the pod. But I also think that Ed Exley just has a particular interest in a subset of the ladies.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so we spoke about, did Kim Basinger really deserve the Academy Award? It's a resounding no. We're going with Julianne Moore. So that's the third question. Look, we're just racing through this episode tonight. That gets us into the categories already in record time. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Gow, what do you got for good?
My good is Russell Crowe, because I just think he's so good. Like, rewatching this and just how he simmers and smolders, and the way he can't help himself. And I think he just plays it. When they're in the scene in the police station, when they start talking about the girl tied to the bed and he cracks the chair, it's just that character's so good. So I really, really thought he played this role. So, all three of those major actors did. I thought they were all brilliant, but I thought his performance, this is when he was at his peak. And that romper stomper role, this kind of role, Maximus, where he's, that brooding, angry sort of character. I think that's right in his wheelhouse. But not only that, he also pulls off the short sleeve tie combo, and it's a cracker.
Looks good in it too, doesn't he?
Is he Bud White or Sipowicz?
Well, he's the original Sipowicz.
The original Sipowicz. He's Homer Simpson. It is awesome. I love it when he takes his shirt off, and I'm like, that's great.
Yeah. He's so conflicted the whole time, Bud White, but his baseline is obviously violence against women, right? So then that scene where he actually hits Lynn is so amazing, because you can tell how far he's been pushed for him to get to that length, right?
And then again, that's his self-loathing, because he snaps and goes, and he just hating himself for doing that, right? Like, been pushed to the point.
Yeah, it's full on. What about you, Dan? What do you got for good?
We talked about James Ellroy already, but he actually laughed when he wrote this book, because it was actually picked up by one of the studios before it was even released as a novel. And he laughed to his agent. He was like, "Mate, I'll take their cash, but there's no way they're going to be able to turn this book and all 700 pages, whatever it is, and multiple plot lines into a movie." But Curtis Hanson and his team were able to do it and do it brilliantly. So, and James Ellroy gave them a well played as well. He actually liked the adaptation, had some interesting views on the final scene, because that differs quite differently to the book. So in the book, the what's his name?
Dudley.
Dudley's,
Dudley.
Dudley. You know from the get-go in the book that Dudley is the bad guy. So that's it's not revealed to us in the film, obviously, as it's held back by Curtis Hanson as a directorial and narrative choice. But in the book, you know straight away. So what's going on? But Ellroy liked the way that they shifted the narrative and made it about those three protagonists. And we talked about it last week as well. So 2 protagonists from last week. This week we've got 3 protagonists that we buy into with Vincennes, Bud White, and Ed Exley. So, and they all have a grudging respect for each other, I think, by the end of their characters' input into the movie. So, yeah, James Ellroy, if you haven't read his books, go out and read them, F-Wits. It's very, very much worth your while.
I believe, too, in the books that it wasn't the Veronica Lake or the Lynn Bracken character that they fought over, it was actually the Spanish girl.
That's right.
The Mexican girl that got raped.
Oh, okay.
So
that's
in the
correct,
book, she's the one that they're fighting over, or they have the love triangle with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Good choice for it to be Lynn Bracken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, my good is the three leading men, all three of them.
Yep.
I think they are just a tour de force. And if you throw in James Cromwell as the seething Dudley Smith, but there is not anyone that it isn't throwing 100 miles an hour in this movie. They are all at the top of their game. But that relationship that, as you said there, the grudging respect by the end, but you can see it build from like essential hatred at the start and just, dismissal to a building as we go through. And they realize, I just love it how he's the Russell Crowe is the tough guy, but he's actually a good cop.
Yeah.
And no one's letting him be a good cop because he's a tough guy. And when he starts to solve the case, you don't expect him to be the one to solve the case, right?
Well, they say it. Even the mortician says it. The guy, mortician? That's not the right word. The
guy in the morgue.
The morgue, yeah.
Yeah, mortician with me, I guess, yeah.
But he says it. He goes, I didn't think he was that smart,
Yeah.
He's not as dumb as I thought he was.
Not as dumb as I thought he was, yeah. But the three of them are incredible. And then you obviously can't discount the script because the script is lightning.
Yep.
And it just doesn't waste a beat. So you've got these three of, two unknowns and essentially what would become Hollywood royalty. And the three of them would essentially ascend to the top of the mountain.
Yep.
And they are just crushing it from minute one.
No doubt.
And you buy in. And I don't think anyone has really ever, I don't think anyone's really Team Exley. But as the movie moves on, I don't think you're ever like, you're in all of them.
Yeah.
You buy all the stories. Like, you're not like, I don't give a shit about Vincennes or I don't give a shit about Exley. Like, you are buying every story, which is something pretty special. You don't get that very often.
Mm. Well, they do that with Exley really well because he's obviously a good cop, but, he's not one of the boys and they're all going to dislike him and he's got those traits. But then, then he's just dogged in figuring it out and not caring that, he's not just taking the glory of taking down the Night Owl killers, which he could have sat on. He's gone, no, I want to solve this properly.
Yeah, it's very good. Very clever. Very clever. Okay. What about Dan for the bad? You got anything for the bad?
I've got a bad/ugly because it's bad and it's literally ugly. But what's going on with the wart between Rusty Crowe's eyebrows that he's never had cut out? Oh my God! It just draws the eye like Molly. Like it freaks me out. Now I've got a bit of a beauty mark on my melon, but it's more of the supermodel place like on my cheek. But Rusty's just above the tip of his schnooter between his eyebrows. Yeah, mate, what's going on? I'm all about aging gracefully and no need to go under the knife. And we're all beautiful children in our own right. Some of us more so than others. But Rusty, that's it. He's still got it, and it still draws my eyes. So get rid of it, mate.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. It's not like your Cindy Crawford beauty spot, right?
No, well, exactly. Mine's on the Cindy side, where so it doesn't draw the eye as much as my snaggletooth. So
yes,
it's under the hooter, so it's
nothing can take the focus away. Nothing can. It's the dark side of the moon. It lives on the dark side of the moon.
It grows only in constant shade.
The mole of tranquility.
Anyway,
what about you? Excellent. What about you, G? What do you got for bad?
My bad was, we just talked about Exley being, he wouldn't do any of those bad things. He even says to his captain, I'm not going to do that. No, I wouldn't do that. Wouldn't take money. Won't take the $10. Won't do that. And yet he walks in the door and meets Lynn Bracken for 2 minutes and then can't help himself and rips off his clothes and is into her. So,
but it's borderline, like it's sexual assault.
Yes.
Essentially, like,
well, but this is the thing, but I just don't get that's in his character because he wouldn't do a thing wrong and all of a sudden he can't contain himself, for 2 minutes of meeting this. Yeah. Like it's not like there was any build up where he's like, he'd met her like Bud did and there'd been a smolder. He's met her 2 minutes ago.
Smolder. That word doesn't get used enough, Gal. Well done.
You like that?
I love smolder. Fox Smolder.
Yeah, I just thought he was holier than thou. He was so self-righteous that I don't think he just goes, that's what I'm doing.
Well, that must have been his kryptonite.
Yeah, well, I know that he wanted to get back at Bud, like he hated Bud, but still, yeah. But you're right, he must have known what was going on.
Yeah, I'm like, Bud White's a psychopath. I'm like, if he's tapping that ass,
but I'm steering clear. Yeah, he knows he's going to find out.
Yeah, for sure.
The only other one,
he thinks that Bud White's bad as
Yes.
well.
No,
So
that's
he's
right.
trying to take him down.
Yeah, he says that to him. He says that to him. You'll go down as well. You know, like, but my other bad one was like, she's working for the fleur de lis. You know, this super
Whatever you desire.
whatever you desire, and it's very high up market and very discreet, and like people that won't even take the phone call if they don't know you.
Yeah.
And she lives on a main road and leaves her curtains and windows open at all times, and is having sex with
Councilman,
politicians and councilmen and cops, and just has the windows and doors open. Like it just to me just didn't. I don't know. I get it for the scene when it's Exley.
Yeah.
Because obviously she's setting him up, but there are other times when he drives past and he sees Bud in the house, all the curtains are open.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it's very odd.
Yeah,
Very odd.
I agree. It's quite
like it's not what someone in that position is going to do.
she's drawing enough attention to herself the way she looks without opening the curtains. And I'm fairly certain the curtains don't match the drapes.
I don't think so.
Yeah, fairly certain. Okay, I've got a couple bad, and I just thought of one while you're just talking there, Gal. But my main one is actually I'm bad because I want more. At the end of this movie, I'm disappointed this movie ends. I'm like, I want more. I want to see more. You could have given me another 30 minutes and I'm transfixed by this movie. I love it, right? But just thinking about when Bud White turns up to Lynn's the first time and he's in there with the councilman and he's like, hello, councilman. And she walks out and he's in his undies and stuff. They've obviously been pounding.
Want me to get rid of him?
Yeah. Yeah. Please. And then Rusty's straight in there.
Yeah.
Like, there's no vinegar and water douche.
Yeah.
Like, who knows what's been going on there? Like, he's straight in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whether to applaud the man or to turn in abject disgust.
She must have the power.
Mate, she
can't
must
contain themselves.
She got the red cape. She got the red cape with an S on it hanging out of a flange.
Themselves in there.
Yeah. I don't know.
But interesting enough, you say that you could have more. This is one of the only two movies that Russell Crowe said he would love to have done a
sequel.
Yeah. And it was this and the other guys.
The Nice Guys.
The Nice Guys.
Yeah. Nice Guys is such a good fucking movie, man.
But it would have been very hard to do a sequel to this, I think, because it's how do you follow up something that's so
especially
good like
from
that?
Bixby,
Really
wherever
hard.
they went.
Yeah.
Bisbee.
Right.
Is it Bisbee or Bixby or wherever?
Bixby.
Yeah. Okay. What about Ugly? Got anything for Ugly?
No.
Dan? Anything?
Nah.
Gal's got nothing. I got one thing. It's a question. If this is any other year, not 97 where Titanic wins everything, is this good enough to win a Best Picture?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
100%.
100% agree.
Was it in the nominations?
Yeah, it was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah. It was nominated for 9, I think.
Yeah.
And it won 2.
Yeah. Yeah, so I agree. I think Titanic blew everything out of the water.
Interesting enough, Titanic, this one too, it won obviously Best Supporting Actress and Best Adapted Screenplay, as we talked about. Titanic won it was nominated for 9, so Titanic won the other 7 that it was nominated for.
Yeah.
Titanic took every other award off them.
It won all the technical awards, Titanic.
Yeah.
What have you seen more, this or Titanic?
I've seen this way more than Titanic.
Totally. I reckon I've seen Titanic twice, if that. So, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Titanic in full in one sitting. Like, I've seen parts of it.
Well, as we know, I took Belle 2 or 3 weeks ago to see Titanic in 3D on Valentine's Day, on that week, as a bit of a daddy-daughter date. But I like Titanic. I think it's a great movie. I am blown away by what James Cameron's able to do. But as an Academy Award-winning movie, sure, this is a much better movie than Titanic.
Mate, Titanic's a big box office movie. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's what they make them for.
Well,
we hit this all the time.
James Cameron changed the world with Titanic and then changed the world again with Avatar. So that's what he does. All right, let's move into Morgs' Quickfire.
Yes.
Take it away, Dan.
Hello, F-Wits. Thank you. Let's rip into Quickfire this week. So first up, as always, that's on a knife from Michael J. Dundee, Crocodile Dundee, for a scene that's passed over into popular culture. Not really anything stood out for me. It wasn't. I think it's probably reflected in the box office positioning. It's not a mainstream flick as such. It's definitely only the discerning viewer, like the three of us and all our F-Wit mates, that have really enjoyed this. Have you boys seen anything in there that you've seen pass over into? We don't drop calls on each other from LA Confidential, that's for sure.
Now, I would think the only one that probably gained a bit of traction for a time would have been Off the Record on the QT and Very Hush Hush. I do remember that being bandied around, but not in general folklore now. Like you wouldn't hear it, but so nothing else other than that.
Nah, nothing.
Agreed. Philip Stuckey in Pretty Woman, Jason Alexander's amazing turn as an absolute fuckwit in Pretty Woman. Who took the mantle in this one, you reckon?
I say Exley, because Exley probably is the biggest dick in the movie. He's really the only one. I don't think there's anyone else that you would say is a quintessential dick.
Look, the
Dudley Smith's a bit of a
Dudley Smith is a bit of a
He tried to clean house on everybody at the end.
Yeah.
Everybody takes out.
Rollo Tomasi.
Yeah. Good.
And also the district attorney, I thought was an absolute.
Ellis Lowe.
Yeah.
Ellis Lowe. Actually, no, I changed my vote. I'm going with Ellis Lowe. He's a grub.
Nice one.
He's an absolute grub.
Cast of Caddyshack. Next one for an actor or an entire cast that aren't quite sure what movie they're in. I think anyone's tonally in check on this movie. It doesn't really feel like anyone doesn't know what's going on.
No, it's pretty well done. Pretty well cast.
G-Man.
Behaving.
No, I agree with that. Yeah. There's nothing. There's no one out of place here, really.
No,
excellent. One of my favourite categories, Ripley running for our beloved Sigourney Weaver, who we adore, but know that she can't run for shit and has very poor gross motor skills. Anyone in this film that displayed a certain aversion to coordination?
Yeah, Kevin Spacey couldn't punch his way out of a paper bag.
Oh, that's excellent. Excellent. When he shows the champ to hold his terrible.
That as well, but also in the massacre in the jail when he gets the blood on his tie.
Yeah.
And the punch is so bad that the guy should have just laughed at him.
Excellent.
But when it's like, keep it up. Keep it up.
That's it. Both. Well played. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Oh, no, I just think what Whitey hit on there in that opening fight scene when they're taking on the Mexicans, like there's a lot of bad stuff there when Bud White shoves him against the wall and that's all he does and the guy's half out of it. Wasn't great.
Bud's tough.
He's very tough.
Excellent. Robot Sentries again from our favoured Aliens movie, James Cameron's bit, where he, in the director's cut, he chucked in some more scenes that just expanded our knowledge of what's going to happen to these characters and what's going on in the wider world. Anything in this film that we didn't see, Whitey's already said he just wants more. And look, I go back to the books, but James Ellroy, all the characters feature in all of the novels. So Buzz Meeks is actually quite a central character in an earlier book. I think it might be The Black Dahlia. I can't remember off the top of my head, but all of the characters pop up in different novels if they're set in the same quartet. So yeah, I'm with you, Whitey. I would have liked to have seen more. I think Rusty Crowe's onto it, wanting to see more of Bud White for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think this movie is almost perfect as it is, but whether it's wanting to see the other books come to life, The Black Dahlia is not a great movie. The Black Dahlia is not a great movie, which is a shame because it's an incredible story.
The source material is still excellent. Yeah, it's just
it's an incredible story. But the movie is not good. Josh Hartnett and Scarlett Johansson, and it's just not a good movie.
Josh Hartnett had a bit of a moment there, didn't he?
He had a moment,
yeah. Black Hawk Down. He was definitely they really positioned him. He was also in Sofia Coppola's bit that I really like with Kiki Dunst and The Virgin Suicides. Great flick, F-Witch. Look, if you're going to, there's one director you really want to see more of, it's definitely Sofia Coppola. So I know that my colleagues probably disagree, but
everyone was saying that after Godfather 3, we just can't get enough of Sofia Coppola.
Last and not least, from Quickfire, Whitey's Brad Pitt for the actor or actors in the film that you may want to have an explosive nooner with, a la Ed Exley and Lynn Bracken. Whitey?
Well, it's hard to go past Lynn Bracken. I had a massive crush on Kim Basinger for a long time.
So from this movie or from other movies? Or
no,
from
9.5 weeks.
From 9.5.
No,
well, from Batman, she's amazing as Vicky Vale. She's probably right in her best in '89 with Batman.
Yeah. No, true.
But she's great, and she looks really young in 9.5 weeks. But in Batman, she's gorgeous.
So you prefer a bit older? I'm gleaning from that.
Well, look, I'm not as old as some of our friends might have a penchant for, but look.
What about 8 Mile?
Oh God, she's rough in that. But I'd give her a crack. Why not? Kim Basinger. Right. Kim, if you're ever lonely, reach out. You're probably on my what's the list you get? when you get the celebrity list?
Oh, the hall pass.
Yeah, you're a hall pass of mine, Kim. So look, if you're keen, look, just Gold Coast, Australia.
There's an offer for you.
An offer you can't refuse. If ever you're on the back lot of Warner Brothers Movie World up here on the Goldie, I'm happy to pop into Studio 7.
Excellent. I'm sure she'll hear this and jump right at that chance. That's it, people. Gow, I'm presuming you are also a Kim Basinger fan, as am I. Let's wrap it up.
Yep. Yeah, well done. Okay, good stuff. Okay, what about listen to this? A bit of rumours. Morg stole one of my rumours about the Joey Stompanato. So well done, Dan.
Thank you.
James Ellroy does amazing things by weaving the fiction and non-fiction into his books and movies. But anything else you got, Gow?
Yeah, Johnny Stompanato and Lana Turner, who were a real item, and obviously Mickey Cohen's real, and Johnny Stompanato was a Marine who then started being a standover man for him.
Yeah.
They didn't actually meet till 1957, and this is set in 1953.
Right.
So come on, Curtis, be better.
You got the accent.
Look, Russell Crowe initially turned this film down because he didn't think he was imposing enough to be.
Yeah, because the bicycle's supposed to be giant. It's supposed to be a really big fella.
So he actually stayed in a place that was quite small, with small rooms and doors, to make himself feel bigger about the role, because he wasn't big. He's not even 6 foot. So to come in with that presence, that he actually. But Curtis Hanson really wanted. Can I just
stop you there? Like, actors are fucking weirdos, aren't they? Like,
100%.
To get into his character, he decided he'd get into a low-ceilinged house and use little itty-bitty knives and forks and small teacups so that he felt bigger. Like, come on, Rusty. It's called fucking pretending, mate. Just pretend you're a big unit.
Yeah.
He didn't have any problem in Romper Stomper.
No.
But, so funny. But Curtis Hanson saw him in Romper Stomper and wanted him, but he said he found him repulsive and scary, but captivating.
Well, I've been called that as well. Probably for different reasons to Rusty. Yeah.
Excellent.
I got one. So James Ellroy did a Q&A in Melbourne, in the early 90s, or probably I think it was 94 or 95, and someone asked what one of your books would you like to see come to the cinema. And he said, well, as a matter of fact, they've just started writing the script for LA Confidential. And the crowd was like, oh. And he goes, and in fact, they've actually cast 2 Australians in the lead roles. And the crowd was like, fuck off. They're not going to cast any Australians. And he goes, yeah, no, we've cast Guy Pearce and Russell Crowe have been cast as Exley and Bud White. In that crowd was Guy Pearce.
Oh, really?
He went because he had been given the gig, and he went to hear this Q&A with James Ellroy so he could get some sort of background
idea,
and what was going on. And they actually didn't announce to the world that Crowe and Pearce had got the role for another 12 months.
Wow.
That they'd already been cast. And these people who went to this Q&A got a little bit of information on the QT.
On the hush.
Yeah.
How good was it before On the Line when shit like that could happen?
Best. The best.
You could just get up to so much mischief and no one fucking knew.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool.
Oh.
They were good old days, weren't they? They were the good old days.
You know what? I mean, the G-Man, he took full advantage of that. Whoa.
Well, this is 97 Gow.
Oh, it's absolute peak hot G.
This is 97 Gow.
Yeah,
now,
it did not get any hotter.
Watchers, if you go into the dictionary and look up 97 Gow, you're going to be blown away.
If you like longbacks, right in your wheelhouse.
And plenty did.
What a pants man he was. Anyway, R.I.P. 97 Gow. I've got one, and this one I thought was piss funny. But Kevin Spacey, quite a storied actor, amazing Hollywood actor, if you like. Apparently he had trouble playing dead. So when he's in the scene with James Cromwell, which is an excellent scene, by the way, the first time you see that, it is just brilliant. But old mate Kevin Spacey was shot and then his eyes kept following James Cromwell throughout the scene. So what a dickhead. So anyway.
How hard is it to just not look?
Curtis Hanson had to get a production assistant to draw a spot on the wall and told bloody Kevin Spacey, just look at the spot, mate, and don't follow James Cromwell throughout. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. It's just pretending. Russell Crowe. Calm down.
It is funny. They take themselves pretty seriously, these actors.
I think that there's, and I talk about this a bit in Film School for F-Wits this week, actors are brilliant. There is that, look, they can convey emotion and through very limited movement on screen sometimes, which, again, I look at in it feels good for F-Wits. But, yeah, I think that they intellectualise a process that is literally we all did when we were 5-year-olds in the playground. My 2 daughters are the best actresses going around. All they do is go out and make up stuff and create their own scenes. They do it. You do it until you realise that you look like a bit of a knob doing it. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think they carry on a little bit, but they're all excellent at this. So, hey, if that process works for them, then who am I to say it's shit house?
Absolutely. All right. Well done. Couldn't find a 1 Degree of Kurt Russell in this movie.
No.
So that's a shame, and definitely no 1 Degree of Quigley. But I'm sure that Damo will find something there.
Yeah.
On Damo, so we're getting Damo on in a couple of weeks, but on the weekend, Damo met one of our OG fans. So Damo came to watch the boys play footy on Sunday, and at the ground, helping me out, was Robbo.
Oh, right.
One of our OG Born to Watch supporters who's been an avid fan since day one and still is today. And I introduced them, and Robbo shook his hand and said, "G'day, Damo," like he knew him, right? And I said to Damo, "Oh, Damo, this is Robbo. He's like one of the OG Born to Watch fans." And Damo was like, "Oh, okay, you're a superstar, mate. You're a superstar." But it was so funny with Robbo going, "Yeah, mate, I already know sort of who you are." Shout out to Robbo. You're a legend. Keep
Good on you, Robbo. Saw Robbo tonight.
Yeah, shore up that New Zealand fan base of ours, please, mate, and do it quickly. Okay, let's move on to the quotables. And Gow, you got anything for this?
Not a lot of big quotables. I know you got a couple there, Whitey. I've got I think that Dudley Smith had a few good, very dry one-liners. And one I liked was when he's talking to Jack Vincennes in his kitchen. Jack says, "I messed something up. I'm trying to make amends." And he says, "Don't start trying something right. Don't start trying to do the right thing, boyo. You haven't had the practice."
Yeah.
He has a couple of good ones in that scene.
Yeah, well, mine is the end of the movie. I used my one, "You fuck for money," which I think is just abysmal, but very, 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 very poor script writing there. But I got this one when they're in the Victory Motel, and it's Exley and Bud White, and he says, Ed Exley says, "All I ever wanted was to measure up to my father." Bud White says, "Now's your chance." And Exley sort of looking at him, he goes, "He died in the line of duty, didn't he?"
That was funny. That was really funny.
It's like a bit of levity when it's you against the police force. Now, on that, do you think that the set that they use for the Victory Motel and the oil field is the same set for Beverly Hills Cop 2?
It looks very similar, doesn't it?
Since 97, I've looked at it, and I tried looking for it today, but I couldn't find anything to say that's the same place.
No. It looks very similar,
Mate, it looked almost identical.
Well,
with machines in the background,
So the cinematographer of this film shot this, and he's also involved in the new Aquel Foley film. So...
Aquel 4.
Yeah, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it is interesting. So there we go.
That's interesting.
I had a quote. Last one was right at the end of the film. I thought was very amusing. Lynn Bracken, and she's got a busted ass Bud White in the back of the car, and she's talking to Ed Exley, and she says, "Some men get the world, others get ex-hookers and a trip to Arizona."
Yeah,
which I thought, for some men, that's exactly all they wanted in life. So well done, Bud White. He doesn't need hygiene.
He doesn't need much.
He jumps
doesn't
in there.
need
No,
much.
he just
doesn't need the douche.
Yeah.
Doesn't need a bit of a wash up. I've got a bit of a bone to pick with Ed Exley though. Like Bud White's waving to him out the back of the window, and Ed's not even giving him a wave when he's driving off.
Yeah,
just sort of looking at him through his, lose the glasses, Ed.
Might have had the glasses off.
Yeah, no, he had the glasses on.
Oh, did he?
You could see he was waving. Lose the glasses, Ed. Yeah, very good. Okay, well done. We all had a quote there. Now we're moving. Well, it's just the Dan show tonight. film school for F-wits.
Yes, fellow F-wits, our favourite segment for sure. I want to talk about this week, the cinematographer, Dante Spinotti. So he's an Italian dude, and he is a very, very, very prominent cinematographer in Hollywood. So just have a look at some of the films that he's done. So he was a big Michael Mann guy. He did the original Manhunter with Michael Mann.
Movie.
Yeah, fantastic. Did Heat.
Great movie.
Incredibly, yeah. He also did Last of the Mohicans. So he got, look, of course, LA Confidential. He's done some, The Insider, again, with Michael Mann. So, but I touched on it earlier. He is slated and is actually shooting at the moment Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley, which is the 4th installment. So what do we think that's going to be like? I don't know.
Oh, God.
1 was incredible, one of my favourite films ever. 2 was also excellent. 3 was abysmal. Can they bring it back? After they fucked up coming to America so badly, I'm scared.
Yeah, look, I've got massive reservations about this movie.
The whole movie rests on Eddie's persona. Like the first movie's rested on him and his ability to act and take people there and make the jokes. So I don't know if he can still do that.
Yeah, but there was still a bit of a story.
No, there's a good story, but it all
I
bases on him, right? Yeah. Like he's the one that makes that whole movie go.
For sure.
So can he still do that? Can he bring people in with all of that?
He's going to get a lot of people going just from nostalgia.
Yeah, 100%.
With the three of us being in front of the line.
Yeah.
How old do you think his lieutenant is now? Like, he'd have to be 106. So I don't think we're going to hear, is that fucking Foley in here?
I think he died.
He's gone.
He died, mate.
He's gone.
Yeah. He don't have any ass left at all.
Anyway, back to Dante Spinotti. So, yeah, look, amazing. He's a BAFTA Award recipient, and he's been an Academy Award nominee for this and also for The Insider with Michael Mann. So, yeah, look, very storied cinematographer. But he worked a little differently with Curtis Hanson on this particular film. So normally the cinematographer, he's in charge of, or the director of photography is also known, he's in charge of all the visual imagery for a film. So, but with this, he worked really closely with Hanson to really understand, I guess, the narrative and the plot and the motivations of the character. So whilst he just got a lot more in depth, I guess, than sometimes you would need to for the role of the cinematographer as the visual, the guardian of the visual aspect of the film. So there's 2 points I wanted to look like. And side note, Dante's actually on the board of governors for the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. So he's one of the fuckwits that denied me again for Clyde.
You need to suck up to him, Dan.
Yeah, I'm trying, Dante, but you've been a bit of a cock to me of late. So, but anyway, we'll come back to that. I see him at the dues. We get on the piss. He's an Italian bloke. So anyway, we've got a lot to chat
on the wines, Morgs.
So, yeah, we get on
the wines with him.
Vino Rosso.
Do you ever question the whole Dante thing?
It's a sick name. No, and I say that to him often. I'm like, mate, you got a sick name. Like, why are you such a knob in not allowing me to be part of your little club? So anyway, I digress. So there's 2 things I really wanted to pick out of how Dante works with Curtis Hanson. So the first one is how he shoots Ed Exley in close-up. So Guy Pearce was quite an unknown in this before this film. So Curtis Hanson, the director, the producers, they took a big leap of faith that Ed Exley as the pivotal character, as the 3 main protagonists, would be up to what is the mainstay of this particular role. So, and Dante shoots Ed Exley in close-up a hell of a lot, where he doesn't do a lot. Like, there's no dialogue. It's literally just Guy Pearce's face. And we know everything that's going on in Ed Exley's mind, even though he's doing very little. He's very quiet in the frame, and it's literally just a close-up on Guy Pearce. So I think that's incredible, the way that, and it adds to Ed Exley. He transitions throughout his character arc. He's a sniveling little political animal, and in the end, he's someone that both Jack Vincennes and Bud White trust. So I think that the way that the cinematographer was able to use that close-up and lack of dialogue, I guess, for us to know exactly what Ed Exley's thinking is incredible, and a lot of trust in the director and the cinematographer working together with the actor, in this case, Guy Pearce. The second point is something I loved in this film, and I'd forgotten in the rewatch. But you know the interrogation scenes where they've got the 3 Night Owl guys that they pull in. So they're in it's a two-way glass that they're using in the film. And we see Ed Exley when he's actually interrogating the guys. It's just a mirror. So all we see is Ed Exley's reflection, and it's actually him smirking a lot. And Ed Exley thinks he's the king of this, and he's doing quite well. And he thinks he's the smartest man in the room, and he's really using his talent for interrogation to get what he wants out of these guys. So whereas the 3 guys are actually shitting themselves. And so when we see them on the reverse shot, what's really clever is the cinematographer has picked up just enough transparency so that we can see what's going on through the mirror, but just enough reflection so that we can see all of the cops and everyone in the foreground that are all standing around. And so it's the contrast that I really love between Ed Exley being super confident in everything he wants to do in that particular moment, and then looking at these 3 kids that we're shooting at, and then the jumble of cops that you see on that little reflection, and just what the harrowing experience it must be for them, that they're getting basically blamed for murder that they haven't committed, but still they're shitting themselves. I just think that there's it's so different the way you contrast that, and just such a clever way to set up the frame in that, which could have otherwise just been a simple mirror shot, reverse shot, where we see everyone sitting out in the interrogation room. So I think that unlike a cinematographer merely being in charge of just making sure that the shot is framed well and that the blocking's done and that the camera pans where it needs to do, this really drives the narrative forward. And we know a lot about each character in the room, especially the 3 suspects, that we maybe wouldn't know if he didn't shoot it that way. So I think it's really incredible. Dante, you're a good bloke. You got a sick name. That's Film School for F-Wits this week.
Well played, Dan.
Good work.
Yeah, well played. It's amazing. It's a beautifully shot film, an amazing looking film. So well done, Dante. Do something about your name and let Dan in the academy. Okay, so now we're going to stay with Dan because it is Stan Bush, Kick-Ass credit song. Dan, tell us a bit about your song tonight.
I touched on this earlier, but Kim Basinger, so she's super hot in this film, and I just did a little bit of mental calculation. So in 97, she was substantially older than the 3 of us, and yet still the sex symbol there. So I don't know, like it. And I look at her in 8 Mile, obviously a much heavier situation, but also she's Eminem's mum in that, and you're thinking, yeah, it's a pretty good sort. But it just occurred to me that perhaps our ages, like everyone stays on screen and they're captured in time at that particular moment. But we've actually we've gone on to go beyond Kim Basinger's age, and so she's not quite the cougar these days as a bit of a younger toddy. But there's always been a mate of ours that has had a penchant for the older woman. So this is really an homage to Kim Basinger, an homage to Craig Plymmer, and an homage to the Beach Club. So the song is called Kim Basinger of the Beach Club, and it goes a little like this. She's the hooker with a heart of gold. She caught the eye of our own Rusty Crowe. Looks just like Veronica Lynn, but from the booners. A mature seductress paid for nooners. She's just like that cougar our mate Plims used to see. Down the beachy seeking fur burgers with cheese. A gorgeous older lady. What's not to love? Wait a sec. In the film, she's younger than us. Shit, sorry, I got to scroll up. Sorry, I paused up with my mouse. It's running a battery. Kim Basinger was younger than we are now. Kim Basinger. To her, we're the silver foxes. Wow. Kim Basinger. Eminem's school friend towed her up. Kim Basinger married the hot Baldwin, not Billy the cunt. Kim Basinger. The camera loves you, and the Academy did too. Kim Basinger. Fuck the Academy and Clyde the delegate anew. Kim Basinger. Kim Basinger of the Beachy. Did Plims get fresh with you? Oh, yeah.
Oh, dear, Daniel. Dear me.
Completely different melody than what I concocted, but I think I got the point across.
Yeah, eventually. It was like one of my ones.
Went a little longer than the the two verses and a chorus, but
No, it was just a long chorus. Yeah.
It was the same two lines he kept singing though, and having to go and rinse, repeat.
Well, that tune's going to be stuck in my head tonight.
Kim Basinger. Okay, well done, Daniel. Okay, star of the show, and you can't vote for Dan's kick-ass credit song. We'll go with you up on the land, Dan.
Yeah, I've mentioned him many times. James Ellroy. It's the source material for me. I think Hanson and Co did a great job of adapting the screenplay, but you just can't go past the genius of James Ellroy and how he's able to give us such a vivid reconstruction of the 1950s in the LA and think we just know everything about it. Yeah, brilliant. Well played, Mr. Ellroy.
Well done. What about you, Gow?
Yeah, look, I could totally agree with that, and that's a really good nod. I'm going to go with Rusty. I think he was awesome in this movie. I think he brings some real power to this role. It was right when he was hitting his strap. So yeah, I'll go with him just to be different.
Yep. Okay, I'm going the whole fucking thing, the whole movie. I'm giving the whole movie the star of the show. I think this is a masterpiece of a film. I think it is essentially flawless. From the script to the direction to the photography to the actors, even the bit parts, even Simon Baker Denny, who he gave nothing to, he's amazing in the two scenes he's in. I think that it's a masterpiece. I love it. So the whole thing, amazing. Star of the show to the whole movie. Okay, there we go. Sort of just created a new segment there. Okay, so if you like this, what else are you going to like? Now, Gow, you can't say The Sixth Sense.
The Sixth Sense is very much like this, though.
It is
When you think about it.
It is a little. What do you got?
Oh, look, I don't know. Coming up with a couple of these, I came up with The Untouchables. Now, it's a cop thriller. It's similar. It's a period piece. It's probably not as, the storyline is not as, I guess,
on my
sophisticated.
It's on my list.
Yeah, as you know, sophisticated the right word, but it's probably not as intricate and involved as this.
Yeah.
So, and this, this has got the twists and turns when you haven't seen it before that you've got to figure out. But yeah, look, that's my quick one. I thought Serpico might be something like that as well. Yep. Another cop movie, but yet again, it's not. It's more based on one person in that movie as opposed to the trio that we have here.
Yep. Okay, Dan, what about you?
Yeah, I went for something completely different. So I think this is the way that they've been able to depict LA, and this is incredible. And it looks very much like a very well realised version of 1950s. But I think if you want to look at LA in another light, you go and check out Colours. I am a night walking. Psychopath talking. Just talking. King of your jungle, something. Yeah. Colours, Dennis Hopper film from 1988 starring Sean Penn and Robert Duvall. Just an incredible look at a couple of cops in what LA became essentially some 30, 40 years later. So I think it's a really good contrast to this film and picks up with what the LA cops have to deal with some 30, 40 years later.
Yeah, excellent. Good choice.
You're thinking of
left field.
You're thinking of Colours, then it makes me think of Falling Down.
Yeah.
Michael
very
Douglas.
similar to
Michael Douglas. Yeah. Okay, I've got one. It's a little bit left field.
Sorry,
Zodiac.
Sorry, before you go on, did Michael Douglas say he got throat cancer from cunnilingus?
He didn't, I don't think, but the papilloma virus make the cancer is contracted through cunnilingus, yes.
Can be.
HPV. Yeah. He loves it. Loves it. Dancing. When Dan goes, he's going for throat cancer.
Oh, sorry, as you were. I don't know.
Okay. Look, my choice for if you like this, I've gone with Zodiac. David Fincher's crime noir movie set, back in I think it's in the 60s, the Zodiac Killer, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey Jr., the Hulk, whatever his name is. It's got Mark Ruffalo. It's got those three protagonists again. It's a similar thing where they're trying to solve the mystery. Really good movie, really dark, a real good thriller, pretty scary. But really worth a watch. Fincher at his best. Like it's up there with Fincher's best movie, Zodiac. It's great. So give that a crack. We're going to move into The Rank Bank. This was an interesting one. I found it a bit difficult to find some ratings to give it, but I've got 4. So I've got, and two of them are the same person. So I've got Stomachs of the Week, which is Simon Baker Denny, where he goes, Stomach of the Week. Because he's had an interesting Last Supper. Because he's had Frankfurters, which reminded me of you, Gow.
Oh,
you know, Frankfurters, French fries, whiskey, and semen.
Oh.
I've got Victory Motel Beatdowns.
That'd curdle.
You'd think so. And I've also got Hollywood Homicides.
Hollywood Homicides. What about Chair Pisses?
Chair Pisses. Yeah, that's not bad. Dan, anything to add to it?
No. Yeah, Hollywood Homicides. There definitely is a poor choice of words in 2023 from old.
Definitely,
Dudley.
but it's in the movie. It's in the movie.
Yeah, definitely part of the movie. No, I'm happy with either of those.
I can't remember what they all were now.
Chair Pisses. We're going with Chair Pisses. All right. So, how many Chair Pisses, Gow, are you giving LA Confidential?
Well, this was a great rewatch. Really, really enjoyed it. Fantastic movie. Look, you hit it on the head. Fantastic cast, fantastic screenplay, fantastic writer, the whole thing. I'm going 4.5 Chair Pisses.
Okay. Very good. Very good. What about you, Dan, up there on the land? How many Chair Pisses are you giving?
It's
LA
another 5. 2 5s in a row for me. 5 5, 5 5, 5 5, 5 5. This is a perfect movie.
Well,
it's your third 5, Morgs. You've been in a
he's been
on fire lately.
It's his third 5 in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't disagree with Dan. This is a 5 movie for me. This is my second 5. I lie. This is my third 5. It is the perfect film. I love it. It never gets old on me. It's just amazing. A true masterpiece. And that's going to see, I'm tipping, that's going to show. That's going to make some difference.
Okay, let's have a look at this. Coming in at 4.83 Chair Pisses, it's above Lethal Weapon at 4.67 80s Flowing Mullets, and above Raiders of the Lost Ark with the same, and above Warrior. So this is our new number 1 movie.
Standout.
LA Confidential.
Standout.
So it has taken out our logjam at the top, our 3 at the top that were the logjam. So wow, that's big.
Pretty incredible.
The top movie we've done so far.
And we've done some really good movies. So, and we've got some really good movies coming up. So it'll be interesting to see how long it stays there for. It's going to take a pretty good movie to knock that one off, I think, though. 4.83, that's almost perfection. That's as close as I think I'm ever going to get. All right, look, another great episode of Born to Watch. LA Confidential. If you have not seen it, you must. I know that a lot of people last week, we got some feedback about Warrior that they hadn't seen Warrior. And they're looking for it to watch now. So it's the same as LA Confidential. If you have not seen it, trust us.
They are 2 movies you have to see.
Trust the watchers.
Great movies.
Trust the team here. We don't do you wrong. Get yourself. It's on Netflix, I think. LA Confidential. You can definitely watch it on Netflix and just get into it. 100%. At 4.83, it's almost the perfect film. Next week, we've got a special one. It's the Academy Awards next week. So we're going to do a film that got pretty heavily shafted in the Academy Awards. Now, Dan, do you remember what movie we're doing?
I do. It's
take it away.
I think it's another 5. 5 out of 5 for me. I know we haven't done the podcast yet. So. No, we're gonna be doing Goodfellas, which look, what a film. Overs and unders is going to be off the charts. It's going to be a Damo 5, I reckon. It's going to be huge.
So 60.
60, yeah. So Goodfellas. What a flick. If you haven't seen that, give yourself 2 fucking uppercuts. Go and watch it before next week. And yeah, can't wait to get into it.
Yeah. Gow, what do you think about Goodfellas?
Can't wait to do that one.
Yeah.
I've watched Goodfellas a lot of times.
Yeah.
And talk about some quotables. There's plenty in this movie.
Just Joe Pesci.
Yes.
Every time he opens his mouth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No. Look, Goodfellas is going to be amazing next week. So get your research in, boys and girls, and get your feedback on the Watchers Unite Facebook page, the group there we've got going. Just put it up. Put some photos up there when you're watching the movies, and make some suggestions for other ones that we can cover. We'd love to hear from you all. Thank you so much for your support so far, and we will see you next week for Goodfellas. Bye for now.
See you, everybody.
Fuck the Academy and clad the Yeep delegate anew. Got it.
Take 7.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Born to Watch. To join us on our journey into some of our favourite movies of all time, you can find us on all good podcast networks like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you like what you hear, give us a 5-star review and share with your friends.